Just don't ask us to fix the ball.
Okay, good evening. This is a continuation of the October 28th Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, and at this time we'll reconvene into that public hearing, and I'll ask for a motion to do that.
You gotta get a quorum first.
Do a roll call.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Roll call. Yeah, you gotta declare a quorum before you can have any motions. Right.
Okay. Mr. Hudson?
Here.
Mr. Maltese?
Here.
Mr. Rademacher?
Here.
Mr. Jones?
Here.
Mr. Mercer?
Here.
Mr. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Patricus?
Here.
Okay, we do have a quorum, and at this time I'll entertain a motion to reconvene the public hearing.
I'll make the motion.
Mr. Maltese,
Second.
Mr. Rodemaker.
Mr. Maltese?
Yes.
Mr. Rademacher?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Mercer?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Patricus?
Okay. It looks like we have a lot more information than we had at the last meeting, and I guess I wonder, is there somebody that wants to present what we have here as far as the plan? And then I understand that we also have some revisions. Some of us saw this in some emails, and some of us are seeing it for the first time right now. So.
Ready?
Yeah.
All right. Jed Davis with Aspen Group, project developer. So yeah, we created the exhibits that you see before you. More than happy to answer any questions. What you have before you is a site plan. We worked with Steve, who has been a great asset and a help to us to get things kind of aligned around just some clarity in concepts and overall design. The main modifications were revising the parking lot a bit to provide better flow and better adequate sized parking stalls, and then also putting a little more clarity around the landscape plan. And then there's some elevations that you'll find and a little bit of color renderings as well to give you a 3D perspective.
Does everyone have one of these?
Yeah, we do.
They do.
Thank you.
Yeah, so there was one round. We sent some stuff to Steve on Friday. There was a quick round of revisions that got back out on Tuesday. And that should be what is in front of you tonight.
Well, and I think what happened there was some of the parking got changed around. Some of the sizes of the parking spaces got made a little bit bigger, and then also the handicap parking got moved closer to the door. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Steve has reviewed this, and do you want to comment on it?
Yeah, this is much better. This comes much closer to being the ordinance. The comments I would have is, one, where you've got the 32 feet, right at the entrance off of Corning. You've got enough room maybe to give us a little landscaping to buffer the sidewalk from the cars. So you're going to pick up about 7 or 8 feet there. So you could put some shrubbery in there.
And that's between the parking stalls and the sidewalk? Right at the entrance?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. So the landscape plan, I think we can work on some and get it, but it doesn't need to be something that holds this up right now. We can do that on final. What the village does need is an indication from you where the off-site parking spaces are going to be. Some count to show that you're getting close to the one for every 3 seats required by the ordinance. And typically, if those are on private property, We're gonna need some documentation in a form that's acceptable to the village attorney, indicating that you have a lease and is of some length to ensure that that parking requirement will be met.
Sure. I think more than happy to do that before this goes on the village board again.
So then, basically, those are my comments.
Garbage and dumpsters, where is that at? Did you see the garbage dumpsters, anything like that? I didn't,
That's a good question. I don't know.
I've got a question. Garbage dumpsters, where do you plan on putting those and how do you plan on screening those?
That's a great question. Probably the Park District, I think, had a great location. It's not currently shown on the landscape plan, but it was in the northwest kind of corner of the property. So one is kind of the furthest out of public purview from the roadways, and then we could screen it either with landscaping or some kind of a fencing, whatever is preferable to the village.
How are you gonna access that? It looks like you're curbing. Goes around.
They put it way in the far corner, because I think they had it in the far northwest
I
corner.
understand.
I don't think this is curved along the alley.
Yeah, there's no curb there.
That's old.
This drawing sure looks like there
Is
is.
it just on the island?
Yeah, just that island in the center. That
Yeah,
kind
in the
of-
center curb.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
no curve back there. That's just a boundary line.
All right.
I know as far as the additional parking, I believe this was discussed last time that we would use the municipal parking, which is just across from the laundromat, which is behind the facility. And then around the corner, all the street parking that we have here on Second and Main.
We just need an indication where it is and a number.
Yeah, we'll create an exhibit for that. That's no problem.
Across from the laundry isn't municipal parking.
No,
That
that's-
belongs, that's privately owned.
I'm sorry, I meant kitty corner. I don't think that's privately
Oh,
owned
on
on the
Main and-
railroad tracks.
Main
By the
and railroad
railroad tracks,
Ma-
behind the, like, Tongren's building?
Right.
Okay.
So the likelihood is you'll lose a space or two then for the dumpster.
Yeah, that's what I see, unfortunately.
Yeah, I would agree. So we'll make sure that that's accounted for in the overall
Yeah.
larger scale parking
Yeah.
exhibit.
The ordinance just calls for one for every 3
Seats.
seats maximum capacity.
Sure. Which is about 225 in the sanctuary.
So about 73 spaces is total.
Yep.
Okay, any other questions?
We got a sign sticking out perpendicular to the building. I don't have a problem with it, but I just know that there are some, I think, village ordinance rules on those.
Are you talking about the outreach unity?
No, on the corner, the Christ Community Church one.
The one that's on the building itself?
Correct. Just didn't know if that met the rule requirements.
Isn't there still a sign permit requirement? I think we have to go in front of the board for any signs. That's what I had to do when I opened my business, you know. So all that would have to be approved
Yeah.
prior to being put up, so.
Yeah, that's fine. I just know there's been issues with perpendicular signs on buildings before, mainly downtown, but I don't know how this applies or doesn't apply. Yeah, they'll have to make a strong identification.
Oh, I see.
As long as it doesn't hang over the property line.
Well, it's actually attached to this painted on the building, what you're talking about here?
No, it's,
There's one elevation that shows a sign coming out from the corner.
Right.
Oh, okay. Okay, I got it.
This elevation right here.
yeah.
And sheet A302.
Yeah, 301 shows it too, probably a little better.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, the new ordinance just puts all the signs flat on the building instead of sticking out from the building. Didn't get it.
For the playground equipment, is there, like, Sunday school where kids go out and use that? Is there programs during the week?
The list of, it's on here. It shows it. There's a list of, they did a nice job putting what's going on and when it's going on.
Okay.
The second page here.
Which packet do you have, Steve?
Just, it's on the second page of the special use. Maybe hours of operation on there, what's happening in each day, it's really nice.
Okay, any other questions?
I guess I had one question, Jed, for you or Kirsten. On the write-up sheet, I know like Thursday, Tuesday evenings, there's some events going on typically. My only concern really was just that house the Nadlers live in, there's 6 parking spots that just butt up to the house. On your petition, you said that you will be willing to put a fence up. I would just, they're not here, I haven't seen them protest or anything, but I just thought that would be the only concern I had, I guess, was just the 6 or 7 parking spots that are facing that house. And depending on what time the events go to, if it's 10 o'clock at night and they're asleep, they've got lights shining in their living room, basically. That was the only thing I was wondering about, but short of that, I thought it looked good.
Yeah, I know Mr. Nabler and
Yeah.
Diane, so I will certainly speak with them and
Just see,
see if
yeah.
they have any special concerns.
And I know on the petition it says if the neighbors needed to, you guys would put a fence, and it said mostly during the Sunday mornings, but some evenings there's events it looks like on the schedule, and I was wondering if it's in the winter like this at 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, they're always gonna have lights in their house. That was the only thing I was thinking of any concern. Short of that, I thought.
Yeah, I think
everything-
even the evening Bible study, probably the latest, it will go to be 8:30.
8:30.
Yep.
Just me thinking outside the box, you know?
Okay, anything else?
One last thing, and I don't know if this is just strictly village or what, but on the southeast corner, where the sidewalk tees into the east-west sidewalk, I don't know how that didn't happen, but that sidewalk needs to be extended out to Corning, to pick up the sidewalk that it goes on the other side of Railroad Street. Right here. And if you look at it, it's goofy when you're physically there as well.
Yeah, it
Is there
almost,
existing sidewalk now?
Not since this has been torn up and replaced,
Okay.
but I think that, I don't know what that was like. What was the car dealership on that exact
And
spot?
is there a sidewalk on the other side of the street?
Yes,
Okay, so they would have to have,
yes, that would.
yeah, they would have to be continued with truncated curbs for handicap.
so would that line up with that? That would mean the
It would have to
sidewalk would
line
be
up,
over?
Wherever the sidewalk is, they have to, yeah.
That would just be, that would come out of the jurisdiction of the building, and to make sure that that's done with building codes, they're gonna have to have it anyway. if it's
Just
not
let
done.
them know that that's coming, because sidewalks aren't cheap. So,
It's only,
So a couple
Five
yeah,
feet.
but I
Yeah,
mean, with
it's
the
not
truncated
very
curbs and
much.
everything, it's a little different.
lay those in.
Yeah, according to the plan, I don't know if it's 5 feet, you know?
yeah, it's not much, I was over there.
Okay, are there any objectors here tonight? No, okay. Then at this time, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Make that motion?
Second.
Matisse? Okay.
Mr. Maltese?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes.
Mr. Rademacher?
Yes.
Mr. Patricus?
Yes.
Mr. Adams? Or Mr. Jones?
Yes.
And Mr. Mercer?
Yes. Okay, I mean, I think we have everything for the special use, which is what, you know, our job is to take a look at that. I guess, question for you, Steve. When we talk about the landscape plan, is that something that you want to be involved in? I mean, is that a condition that we want to put on it, that
Yeah.
comes back to you at some point?
Right.
Okay. And then the off-site parking and
Yeah,
garbage,
and,
the dumpsters and screening?
right. And as long as you're comfortable passing this along without seeing this stuff, that's up to you. It's clear that that's what the sense of the, you know, assuming that that's what passes. It's the sense of the Planning and Zoning Commission. So it's a matter of whether you want to see a final plan before you pass it along, or you're comfortable adding those conditions and passing it on to the village board, subject to those conditions being fulfilled.
Probably subject to those conditions, and you look it over to make sure that it's fitting within what we're talking
That's
about
fine.
here.
Yeah.
And we'll leave that, you know,
Okay
with you.
I mean, I think so. I think if we make it part of
Yeah.
the special use, then it's, you know, it's part of that, and it gets looked at later, and I'm sure it's all gonna be fine. Okay, anything else, any other things that you want to discuss on this?
That's it.
Okay, we need to take a look at the findings of fact. And
Do you want a motion first?
do that before or after the findings of fact? Yeah, and then include the conditions. Okay.
And if you do it first, and you have the conditions in place, then you know how they
Impact the findings of
relate
fact.
to the standards.
Okay. That's fine, we can do that. Okay, so, then before we do the findings of fact, I'll entertain a motion in favor of this special use, including the conditions of, our planner reviews the landscaping plan, the off-site parking, and also the dumpsters and screening.
Yeah. And if there's any documentation that ought to be reviewed by the village attorney if it's on private property.
For parking, additional parking.
Yeah. If the parking is on, if they're gonna have an agreement for shared parking, which is permitted by the ordinance, then you need documentation in a form acceptable to the village attorney, that in fact they have that in a long enough period of time to meet the ordinance. Otherwise, there are variations here that they haven't applied for.
We're not anticipating doing anything like that, so.
I didn't think you were, I just,
But just in
it's my job here. It's-
All right, so we'll include that in the conditions, that there's, if there's parking on private property, that the documentation is reviewed by the village attorney. So, based on those conditions, I'll entertain a motion.
Make that motion.
I'll second.
I make the motion. A second.
Steve Maltese. Second by Adam.
Yeah.
Mr. Maltese?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Give me this. Mr. Hudson?
Yes.
Mr. Rademacher?
Yes.
Mr. Patricus?
Yes.
Mr. Mercer?
Yes.
And Mr. Smith?
Yes. Okay, now to findings of fact. You have a copy of those, the findings for the special use. A, how will the establishment, maintenance, and operation of special use proposed not be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, morals, comfort, and general welfare of the citizens of the village? I think the building and property is going to be an improvement and obviously comply with the current codes and ordinances, and that will protect the citizens of the village. Sound good?
Good job.
Explain how will the proposed special use will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for the purposes already permitted, nor substantially diminish and impair property values within the neighborhood.
They've already given their operation hours and when they're going to be there.
And again, I think it's going to improve the property value in the area, and it will be an attractive improvement to the downtown area. C, explain how the proposed special use will not impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of the surrounding property for uses permitted in the district.
Most of the area is already improved.
Yeah, I mean, per their
You're
plans.
improving a property that's
That is-
essentially been vacated,
Yep,
and
right.
it's almost a blighting influence on that area.
I don't think it's gonna affect the surrounding area other than to, attract further improvement and development.
All their activities are evening or Sundays, so
Right.
it's not going to be a traffic problem.
Okay. D, are there or will there be provided adequate utilities, access roads, drainage, and/or other necessary facilities to support the proposed special use?
It's all provided, it's all there. There is no upgrades that have to be done.
The drainage shouldn't change.
Right.
Still the same amount of pavement. Okay. E, what measures have been or will be provided to ensure that ingress and egress is designed to minimize traffic congestion in the public streets?
It isn't any more than what is already there. It's just a natural flow of what's there now, what's always been there.
Right. Okay, F, how will the proposed special use be designed, constructed, operated, and maintained so as to be harmonious and appropriate in appearance with the existing or intended character of the general vicinity, and that such use will not be contrary to the objectives of the current comprehensive plan for the village?
It's fixing a building that's pretty much a blight and eyesore right now, so it's going to,
And in the end, it will comply with our current ordinance.
yes.
G, what measures have been or will be taken to allow adequate parking areas for the proposed special use and that areas are properly located and suitably screened from adjoining residential uses, and the entrance and exit driveways to and from these parking areas shall be designed so as to prevent traffic hazards?
It's part of their plan that they have submitted that encompasses all those particular things.
I agree. Under the applied conditions and approved parking plan, parking and traffic flow will be under control. H, explain how the proposed special use will not create excessive additional requirements at public cost for public facilities and services and will not be detrimental to the economic welfare of the village. It's going to be owned and maintained by Christ Community Church.
By private facility.
Yeah. And once the Park District acquired this, it was off the tax rolls anyway, so there's really no change in that regard.
I, explain how the proposed special use will not involve activities, processes, materials, equipment, and/or conditions of operation that will be detrimental to any person's property or general welfare by reason of excessive production of traffic, noise, smoke, fumes, glare, or odors.
There's no real business being operated out of, which is a
It's a
Grouping of
church,
people.
it's a church functions, should have no effect. J, will the proposed special use increase the potential flood damage to adjacent property?
No, well, no.
No. K, will the special use result in destruction, loss, or damage of natural, scenic, or historic features of major importance to the village? No. And the last one, I, will the proposed special use in all other respects conform to the applicable regulations of the district in which it is located, except as such regulations may in each instance be modified by the Board of Trustees? Yes.
Yep.
Okay, we will pass this on to the village board as a recommendation for the special use, and they will take a look at this, and they will be the ones that actually vote on it at, I don't know if it'll be their next meeting or an upcoming meeting.
I
I'm
do
not
believe
su-
we're planning on getting, past this time, we're gonna plan on getting it on Monday night.
Okay,
Good. I'll push it through quick then for you.
all right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
If you didn't sign in, please sign in. Thank you.
Okay, while we're all here, is there any old business or anything to discuss?
Do some future. I know this is different than what you typically do. Typically in other places, the petitioner has to answer these questions for the standards. That's the best way they would adequately address them, but the burden of proof is really on them.
We've always done.
I know, we've had a couple that have come through that they have answered, and we went through them and kind of went side by side with it, and added a couple comments to
Yeah,
it.
typically, you know,
I do look at them, but usually they're really repetitive because they don't really know how to answer them.
oh, I got you. You gotta kind of coach them, so you wind up, and you're still here. I got
That's your
you.
job.
I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got one that's usually. Jim got one. If you're comfortable doing it this way, you know, I don't have a dog in this fight, so.
So you know, you have something on there that we kind of tweak it or change it or add to it, or.
Well, they actually answered all of them, but I.
He wasn't there. So, just going for it, it wasn't a big enough deal to put in there tonight, it just a matter of information.
All right, so we want to read them. and
Going
have them
forward, we're
answer them.
hoping to have the plans and the drawings and everything vetted before it comes to you guys, so we can look at them internally here.
Well, this is a nice setup. I mean, hours of operation, everything. I mean, it was really well done. It was well put together. It's just unfortunate they had to come back.
Yeah,
And
that would
if
have
it
been nice
was
to have.
that way at the beginning, it would have been a lot easier
Sure.
for, you know, council to make a decision.
Well, and typically when they come in, they're gonna talk to you know, and you're gonna be able to discuss that with them.
Yeah, we
I mean,
definitely,
I
well, we
think
also added that to the,
Everybody understands, and we've put a
we added a
heck of
line to
burden
the
on-
request on the variance application that says all plans,
That's okay, I'll
schematics, things like that.
We need to go over
added
anything
when
else,
they
or should we adjourn?
At the time of the application.
Yep. So then I have time to review them, or I can call him, or I can call.
Right, and you can say you're gonna still need this and this and this before it goes to the board, so that we're not wasting everybody's time.
We're not wasting anybody's time, including ours.
Right.
You know, so.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make that motion?
Steve?
Second.
Adam? All in favor?
Aye.
Great. wasn't sure that they had this going, but I printed them all myself. Now I have a lot of stuff. Oh, I
That's probably the most we've ever
we
had.
had a couple things going.
But it was
years ago.
complete, you know, pretty complete.
That's one of the